Walnuts are often called a superfood for seniors. They are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and plant protein that supports your heart, brain, and joints. In fact, research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who eat a handful of walnuts at least 3 times a week have a 14% lower risk of cardiovascular disease and better cognitive function over time. It's no wonder so many seniors in the U.S. have added walnuts to their daily routine, sprinkling them over oatmeal, mixing them into salads, or blending them in smoothies. But here's the part no one talks about. The health benefits of walnuts can disappear or even turn harmful when they're combined with certain foods. That's because walnuts are incredibly nutrient-dense. They contain healthy fats, minerals, and natural plant compounds that react differently depending on what you eat them with. And when the combination is wrong, those healthy fats can oxidize, those antioxidants can lose their strength, and your digestion, blood sugar, or even your heart rhythm can quietly suffer. I remember Mr. Alan Pierce, a 72-year-old retired musician who started adding walnuts to almost every meal, believing more meant better. But over time, he began to experience bloating, irregular blood pressure, and morning fatigue. When we looked closer, the issue wasn't the walnuts themselves. It was what he was pairing them with. After changing just a few food combinations, his energy returned, his digestion improved, and his heart readings normalized. So if you're eating walnuts daily, and especially if you're combining them with fruits, dairy, or morning drinks, it's time to pay attention. Because what seems like a small detail could make a big difference in your health after 60. In today's video, we'll uncover the 10 common foods you should never eat with walnuts. Combinations that can weaken your bones, disrupt your heart rhythm, or quietly raise inflammation over time. Some of these might surprise you because they're foods most seniors believe are perfectly safe or even healthy. But by the end, you'll know exactly which pairings to avoid and how to enjoy walnuts the right way to keep your brain sharp, your heart strong, and your body balanced. So let's get started with the very first food you should never combine with walnuts. 1. Soy and soy-based products, the healthy protein that quietly cancels out walnuts' benefits. Soy and walnuts are 2 of the most popular healthy foods among older adults. Both are plant-based, rich in protein, and often promoted as heart-friendly alternatives to meat or dairy. It might seem harmless, even smart, to add walnuts to a bowl of soy milk, tofu salad, or stir-fry. But here's what most seniors don't realize. Combining walnuts with soy or soy-based products can quietly cancel out many of the health benefits of both foods, and over time may disrupt hormone balance and digestion. Let's start with what happens inside your body. Both soy and walnuts are high in phytates, natural compounds that bind to minerals like calcium, iron, and zinc. When eaten together, these phytates multiply their effect, trapping key nutrients and preventing absorption. That means even though you're eating nutrient-rich foods, your body absorbs far less than it should. Over time, this can lead to weaker bones, lower energy, and mild anemia, especially in seniors who already absorb minerals less efficiently. There's another issue: phytoestrogens. Soy contains isoflavones, plant compounds that mimic estrogen. In small amounts, they can be beneficial, particularly for postmenopausal women. But when combined with the omega-3 fatty acids in walnuts, these compounds can interfere with the body's hormone regulation, confusing the signals between estrogen and testosterone. For older adults, this may contribute to fatigue, mood swings, or even thyroid slowdown over time. I remember Mrs. Helen Porter, a 70-year-old who began each morning with soy milk blended with walnuts and banana. She believed it was a heart-healthy breakfast, light, plant-based, and full of good fats. But after a few months, she noticed her energy dropping and her digestion becoming sluggish. Her doctor later found that her zinc and iron levels were slightly low, and her thyroid function had declined. When she switched to oat milk and ate walnuts separately as a mid-morning snack, Her energy and focus returned within weeks. Science backs this up. A study in the Journal of Nutrition and Healthy Aging found that diets combining multiple high-phytate foods like soy and nuts significantly reduced mineral absorption in older adults by up to 30 to 40%. Another report in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that soy isoflavones can suppress thyroid hormone activity in individuals with mild iodine deficiency, a common condition among seniors. And when paired with high-fat foods like walnuts, the effect becomes even stronger, as fats slow the breakdown of these compounds, allowing them to linger longer in your system. There's also the issue of digestion. Both soy and walnuts are dense, high-fat, high-protein foods. When eaten together, they slow stomach emptying, which can lead to bloating, indigestion, or heaviness, especially if you eat them early in the morning when your digestive system is just waking up. So what's the bottom line? Soy and walnuts each have valuable nutrients, but together they compete rather than cooperate. They block each other's minerals, overload your digestion, and can subtly unbalance your hormones. If you enjoy soy milk or tofu, that's fine. Just keep them separate from your walnuts. Drink soy milk with oatmeal or fruit, and save walnuts for a snack later in the day or with vegetables. This simple timing change allows your body to absorb more nutrients from both, safely and effectively. 2. Caffeine, coffee, black tea, chocolate, the morning comfort that blocks walnuts' power. For many seniors, mornings begin with one comforting ritual, a hot cup of coffee or tea. Sometimes there's even a small piece of dark chocolate after breakfast, and since walnuts are often seen as a heart-healthy snack, many older adults enjoy a few nuts alongside their morning drink. It seems like a harmless habit, but here's the truth. Caffeine quietly interferes with the very nutrients that make walnuts so beneficial. Let's look at what's really happening. Walnuts are rich in iron, calcium, zinc, and magnesium, minerals that support your heart rhythm, bone strength, and brain function. But caffeine and tannins, compounds found in coffee, black tea, and chocolate, can bind to these minerals in your digestive tract, forming complexes your body can't absorb. That means instead of fueling your body, much of the nutrition from walnuts simply passes through unused. Over time, this can lead to fatigue, muscle weakness, brittle nails, or even anemia, particularly in seniors who already absorb nutrients less efficiently. I remember Mr. Robert Mills, a 73-year-old who never skipped his morning routine, 2 cups of black coffee, and a handful of walnuts. He thought he was supporting his heart with healthy fats, but when his doctor noticed his iron and calcium levels dropping, the culprit turned out to be his timing. Once he began drinking coffee at least an hour after breakfast and separated his walnuts from caffeine, his nutrient levels and energy quickly improved. Science confirms this. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that drinking coffee with or immediately after meals reduced iron absorption by up to 39%, while black tea reduced it by as much as 60%. Another report from the Journal of Bone Metabolism revealed that caffeine increases calcium loss through urine, contributing to weaker bones over time, especially in older adults. And that's not all. Caffeine also raises cortisol, the stress hormone, which can interfere with how your body uses the omega-3 fats in walnuts. These healthy fats are supposed to calm inflammation and protect blood vessels. But under the influence of caffeine, your body shifts toward a stress response, tightening blood vessels and reducing the heart protective effects of walnuts. Dark chocolate brings another layer of concern. It contains not only caffeine, but also theobromine, a stimulant that can raise heart rate and cause mild palpitations in sensitive seniors. When combined with walnuts' natural blood-thinning omega-3s, this can sometimes lead to lightheadedness or mild dizziness, particularly if you take blood pressure or heart medication. So what's the bottom line? Caffeine isn't your enemy, but timing is everything. Enjoy your morning coffee or tea at least 1 hour apart from eating walnuts or other mineral-rich foods. And if you love dark chocolate, Savor a small piece in the afternoon, not alongside your nuts. This simple change can dramatically improve nutrient absorption and protect your heart, bones, and nerves. 3. Alcohol, red wine, beer, whiskey, the evening indulgence that turns walnuts from medicine into stress for your heart and liver. Many older adults enjoy a small drink in the evening, a glass of red wine with dinner, a light beer while watching TV, or a sip of whiskey to unwind. And because walnuts are seen as good for the heart, it might seem harmless, even sophisticated, to pair the two together. But here's the truth few people realize. Combining walnuts with alcohol quietly burdens your liver, interferes with fat metabolism, and reverses many of the heart benefits you're trying to gain. Let's look at how. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, the healthy fats that reduce inflammation, protect arteries, and support brain function. Alcohol, however, even in moderate amounts, increases oxidative stress in your liver and bloodstream. When you consume both at the same time, the alcohol accelerates the oxidation of walnut oils, turning those healthy fats into oxidized lipids that can actually damage blood vessels instead of protecting them. Over time, this combination may raise triglycerides, promote inflammation, and strain your liver, especially if you drink alcohol daily or have reduced liver function with age. I remember Mr. Thomas Green, a 71-year-old retired chef who enjoyed a glass of red wine and a handful of walnuts every night. He believed it was helping his cholesterol, a Mediterranean-style routine. But his liver enzymes began to rise, and his doctor noticed early signs of fatty liver. Once he stopped mixing walnuts with alcohol and replaced his evening snack with herbal tea and fruit, his liver health improved, and his cholesterol levels normalized within months. Science strongly supports this. A study published in the Journal of Hepatology found that older adults who regularly combined alcohol with high-fat foods, even healthy fats like nuts, showed higher levels of liver inflammation and oxidative stress markers. Another report from the American Heart Association warned that alcohol can counteract the anti-inflammatory effects of omega-3 fats, especially in individuals over 65 with slower metabolism. There's another important factor: absorption interference. Alcohol affects the way your small intestine processes fat-soluble nutrients such as vitamin E and magnesium, both of which are abundant in walnuts. When you mix the two, less of these antioxidants are absorbed and more are excreted before your body can use. That means and for seniors taking medications, particularly statins, blood thinners, or blood pressure drugs, this combination can be risky. Alcohol enhances medication side effects, and when paired with walnuts' natural blood-thinning properties, can increase the risk of dizziness, bruising, or irregular heartbeat. So what's the bottom line? A small glass of wine or beer on occasion isn't harmful, but keep it separate from your walnuts. If you enjoy walnuts for heart health, have them during the day, perhaps with breakfast or lunch, and let your liver rest in the evening. And if you drink, pair alcohol with light snacks like whole grain crackers or fruit instead of high-fat foods. 4. Seeds, various kinds, the healthy mix that quietly overloads your digestion and heart. In recent years, many seniors have embraced seeds, chia, flax, sunflower, pumpkin, as everyday staples. They're small, full of nutrients, and easy to add to cereal, smoothies, or salads. And because walnuts are also a plant-based source of omega-3s, it might seem perfectly reasonable to combine them together, a superfood mix to boost heart and brain health. But here's the hidden truth. Mixing walnuts with other seeds can quietly overload your digestion, unbalance your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, and even increase inflammation rather than reduce it. Let's look at how. Most seeds, like sunflower and pumpkin seeds, are rich in omega-6 fatty acids, another type of essential fat. The body needs omega-6 in small amounts, but too much can compete with omega-3s, the anti-inflammatory fats found in walnuts, for absorption and metabolism. When eaten together, These fats fight for the same enzymes in your liver. As a result, instead of working in harmony, omega-6 from seeds can overpower the omega-3s from walnuts, tilting the balance toward inflammation, the very thing you're trying to prevent. That imbalance is especially harmful for seniors because chronic low-grade inflammation is a major driver of joint pain, heart disease, memory loss, and fatigue. I think of Mrs. Carol Bennett, a 69-year-old who loved making her own trail mix every week: walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, and a few raisins. She thought she was creating a perfect energy snack. But over time, she began to feel more bloated, her cholesterol crept upward, and her joints started aching again. When we reviewed her diet, we discovered her omega-6 intake had tripled due to the constant seed nut combination. Once she limited her mix to walnuts and a few berries instead, her inflammation markers improved and her energy returned. Science supports this connection. A study published in the Journal of Lipid Research found that diets high in omega-6 fats reduce the effectiveness of omega-3s by up to 50%, particularly in adults over 60. Another report from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults with a higher omega-6 to omega-3 ratio had significantly more markers of inflammation and poorer cardiovascular outcomes. There's also the issue of digestion. Both walnuts and seeds are rich in fiber and healthy fats, nutrients that slow digestion. For seniors with slower gut motility, combining them can cause bloating, fullness, or constipation, especially when not enough water is consumed. In addition, many seeds contain phytates and tannins, which, like in walnuts, bind minerals and reduce absorption of calcium, zinc, and magnesium, key nutrients for bone and nerve health. So what's the bottom line? Walnuts and seeds are each powerful foods, but they don't belong in the same bowl. When mixed, they compete for digestion, nutrient absorption, and fat metabolism, making both less effective. If you enjoy both, alternate them. Have walnuts in the morning with fruit or oatmeal. Enjoy chia or pumpkin seeds later in the day in a smoothie or salad. And always drink enough water to help your digestive system process the healthy fats properly. 5. Dark chocolate, the heart-healthy treat that quietly clashes with walnuts' nutrients. Dark chocolate has earned its reputation as a guilt-free pleasure. It's rich in antioxidants, magnesium, and flavonoids, compounds that can lower blood pressure and support brain health. For many seniors, a few squares of dark chocolate paired with walnuts feels like the perfect combination. Healthy fats from the nuts, antioxidants from the cocoa. But here's the hidden truth. When you combine dark chocolate and walnuts, the caffeine, tannins, and oxalates in the chocolate can quietly block the nutrients in walnuts and increase stress on your kidneys and heart. Let's look at what's happening. Dark chocolate contains tannins, plant compounds that give it that slightly bitter, dry taste. These tannins bind with minerals such as iron, calcium, and zinc, which are abundant in walnuts. When you eat the two together, the tannins form insoluble complexes with these minerals, preventing your body from absorbing them properly. That means instead of strengthening your bones and heart, you're simply passing those nutrients through your system unused. There's also oxalic acid, a compound found naturally in cocoa. Walnuts are already moderately high in oxalates, so combining them with dark chocolate doubles that load. Over time, excessive oxalate intake can contribute to the formation of kidney stones, a painful condition that becomes more common as we age and kidney function naturally slows down. I remember Mrs. Irene Wallace, a 71-year-old retired nurse who loved making her own heart-healthy dessert, crushed walnuts mixed with melted dark chocolate. She had it every night after dinner, believing it was good for her arteries. But after several months, she began experiencing lower back discomfort and mild fatigue. Her doctor discovered tiny calcium oxalate crystals forming in her kidneys, an early sign of buildup. When she replaced her nightly dessert with fruit and ate walnuts separately during the day, her symptoms disappeared completely. And then there's caffeine, and theobromine, two natural stimulants found in chocolate. When combined with the omega-3 fats in walnuts, they can amplify blood flow and temporarily raise heart rate. For younger adults, this might not be noticeable, but for seniors, especially those with heart rhythm concerns or high blood pressure, this can cause palpitations, lightheadedness, or trouble sleeping if eaten later in the day. Science backs this up. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consuming cocoa-based foods alongside high-fat nuts significantly reduced mineral absorption and increased urinary oxalate excretion. Another report in the European Journal of Nutrition showed that the caffeine in dark chocolate altered the metabolism of polyunsaturated fats, like those in walnuts, making them less effective at lowering inflammation. So what's the bottom line? Dark chocolate and walnuts are both excellent foods, just not together. Their nutrients compete, and their combined compounds can stress your kidneys and interfere with heart balance. If you love chocolate, that's fine. Enjoy a small square on its own after lunch, when your body is most active. And if you want the antioxidant benefits of cocoa, pair it with berries or oatmeal, not walnuts. 6. Butter and cream, the comfort foods that quietly turn walnuts' healthy fats into harmful ones. Butter and cream bring warmth and nostalgia to the table. For many seniors, they're reminders of home-cooked breakfasts, toast with butter, coffee with cream, or mashed potatoes rich and smooth. And because walnuts are known for their heart-healthy fats, it might seem harmless to enjoy them together, perhaps in desserts, baked goods, or even creamy oatmeal. But here's the truth. When you combine walnuts with butter or cream, the saturated fats from dairy quietly neutralize the heart protective power of walnuts' omega-3s and can even promote inflammation and cholesterol buildup. Let's look at how it happens. Walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a form of omega-3 fatty acid that helps lower inflammation, reduce bad cholesterol, and keep your arteries flexible. Butter and cream, on the other hand, are high in saturated fats, the type that raises LDL cholesterol and promotes the buildup of plaque in arteries. When consumed together, saturated fats interfere with the way your body processes omega-3s. Instead of being converted into beneficial anti-inflammatory compounds, more of the walnut fats are oxidized, losing their protective effects. Over time, this combination may contribute to higher cholesterol, stiffer blood vessels, and increased risk of heart disease, especially in adults over 60 whose metabolism and liver function have naturally slowed. I remember Mr. Charles Weaver, a 74-year-old who loved starting his mornings with buttered toast and a handful of walnuts. He thought it was a smart compromise, cutting out bacon but keeping a little butter for taste. Yet after a few months, his blood cholesterol climbed higher, and his doctor noticed mild arterial stiffness. Once he replaced butter with olive oil and ate his walnuts separately with fruit, his numbers improved dramatically and his energy returned. Science supports these observations. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that pairing omega-3 rich foods with saturated fats reduced their absorption by nearly 35%. Another study in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism showed that high saturated fat meals caused a temporary rise in oxidative stress, blunting the antioxidant benefits of foods like walnuts. There's also a hidden digestive factor. Butter and cream slow gastric emptying, making meals heavier and harder to digest, particularly for seniors with low bile production or mild gallbladder issues. When you add walnuts, which are naturally dense in fat and fiber, your stomach has to work twice as hard. The result? Bloating, sluggishness, and discomfort that many people mistakenly attribute to getting older, when it's actually about food combination. And if you enjoy butter-rich desserts, like walnut cookies or cream-based pastries, there's one more concern: sugar. Butter, cream, and sugar together create what nutrition scientists call advanced glycation compounds, AGEs, molecules that accelerate aging in tissues, stiffen blood vessels, and harm collagen in your skin and joints. Adding walnuts doesn't protect against this effect. It actually worsens it, since the nut's natural fats react with sugars under heat. So what's the bottom line? Butter and cream aren't inherently evil, but when combined with walnuts, they cancel out the very benefits that make walnuts special. The key is balance and separation. Use butter or cream occasionally and enjoy walnuts in lighter, plant-based meals, with fruits, greens, or oatmeal made with water or almond milk. 7. Almonds, the healthy snack that quietly overloads your body when mixed with walnuts. Almonds and walnuts are two of the most loved nuts among older adults. They're crunchy, satisfying, and packed with nutrients that support the heart, brain, and bones. Many seniors eat them together in homemade trail mixes or breakfast bowls, thinking that combining two superfoods must double the benefits. But here's the truth. Mixing almonds and walnuts at the same time can quietly overload your body with fats, oxalates, and minerals that compete for absorption, leaving you tired, bloated, and missing out on their true benefits. Let's break it down. Both almonds and walnuts are rich in healthy fats, but their fat profiles are different. Walnuts are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammation and support brain function, while almonds are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which in excess can promote inflammation if not balanced properly. When eaten together, omega-6 from almonds competes with omega-3 from walnuts for absorption in the liver. Over time, this imbalance can reduce the anti-inflammatory power of walnuts and may even contribute to joint pain, higher cholesterol, or slower recovery after exercise in seniors. There's also a mineral competition happening behind the scenes. Both nuts are rich in magnesium, calcium, and phosphorus, essential for bone health and nerve function. But when consumed in large amounts together, they can overwhelm your digestive enzymes and interfere with mineral balance. Instead of absorbing more, your body starts absorbing less. A common reason why some older adults experience bloating, gas, or even constipation after eating mixed nuts daily. I recall Mrs. Evelyn Cooper, a 70-year-old retired librarian who snacked on a handful of mixed nuts every afternoon, mostly walnuts and almonds. She thought it was keeping her strong, but she began noticing stiffness in her hands and mild swelling in her ankles. Her blood work showed slightly elevated inflammatory markers. When she switched to eating walnuts alone on certain days and almonds on others, the swelling disappeared and her energy levels noticeably improved. Science confirms this delicate balance. A 2020 study in the Journal of Lipid Research found that excessive omega-6 intake from nuts like almonds reduced omega-3 activity by up to 40%, especially in adults over 60. Another study published in the British Journal of Nutrition revealed that mixed nut consumption led to higher markers of oxidative stress when eaten in large quantities, compared to consuming one nut type at a time. There's also a digestive load to consider. Both almonds and walnuts are high in fiber and plant protein, wonderful in moderation, but difficult to digest together. For seniors with reduced stomach acid or slower metabolism, this double dose of dense nutrients can cause indigestion, heaviness, or discomfort after meals. If not properly chewed, nut fragments may even irritate the gut lining or contribute to minor inflammation in the colon. So what's the bottom line? Almonds and walnuts are both nutritious, but they don't belong in the same handful. Their nutrient competition and fat imbalance make the combination harder for your aging body to process efficiently. If you enjoy both, alternate them. Eat walnuts in the morning to feed your brain with omega-3s. Have almonds in the afternoon for protein and sustained energy. This rotation gives your body time to absorb each nut's nutrients fully, without overload or imbalance. 8. Soda or carbonated drinks, the refreshing sip that silently damages what walnuts try to protect. For many seniors, a cold glass of soda after lunch or dinner feels refreshing. A little sweetness, a bit of fizz, a a comforting habit from younger days. And because walnuts are considered a heart-healthy food, some people think it's fine to snack on walnuts while drinking soda, or to have both as part of a casual meal. But here's the reality. When you combine walnuts with carbonated or sugary drinks, you quietly undo most of the protective benefits that walnuts offer for your heart, bones, and blood vessels. Let's look at why. Walnuts are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, and antioxidants, nutrients that calm inflammation and protect your arteries. Soda, on the other hand, is loaded with sugar, phosphoric acid, and caffeine, all of which increase inflammation and deplete essential minerals. When consumed together, the acids and sugars in soda interfere with the digestion and absorption of walnut nutrients, especially magnesium and calcium, two minerals critical for heart rhythm, nerve function, and bone strength. Over time, this combination can quietly lead to higher blood sugar, weaker bones, and more inflammation, the very problems walnuts are meant to prevent. I remember Mr. Daniel Brooks, a 72-year-old who loved his daily routine, a sandwich, a handful of walnuts, and a can of diet soda. He thought the diet version made it harmless, but over time he noticed increased fatigue and occasional muscle cramps. His lab results showed low magnesium levels and mild insulin resistance, both linked to his soda habit. When he switched to plain water or herbal tea with his meals, his energy returned and his heart rhythm steadied. Science fully supports these findings. A 2021 study in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that older adults who consumed sugary or artificially sweetened sodas regularly had significantly higher levels of inflammatory markers, even when their diets included healthy fats like those found in walnuts. Another study in bone health and nutrition showed that phosphoric acid in carbonated drinks reduced calcium absorption by up to 25%, increasing the risk of osteoporosis in postmenopausal women. There's also the matter of acid-fat interaction. Walnuts contain delicate polyunsaturated fats that can oxidize easily when exposed to acidic environments, like the phosphoric and citric acids in soda. This oxidation process creates free radicals, harmful molecules that age your cells and strain your cardiovascular system. In simpler terms, the soda doesn't just wash away walnuts' benefits, it turns them into something your body has to fight against. And diet sodas aren't the solution either. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose can disrupt gut bacteria balance, making it harder to digest healthy fats and absorb nutrients efficiently. For seniors, that means more bloating, weaker immunity, and slower metabolism, even without the sugar. So what's the bottom line? Walnuts strengthen your heart, but soda weakens it. Combining the two is like trying to drive forward while pressing the brakes. If you crave something refreshing with your walnuts, choose sparkling water with lemon or unsweetened green tea cooled over ice. These drinks hydrate your body, support digestion, and let the healthy fats in walnuts do their job. 9. Coconut water, the natural hydrator that quietly unbalances your minerals. When paired with walnuts, coconut water is often called nature's sports drink. It's light, refreshing, and rich in potassium, electrolytes, and natural sugars that help rehydrate the body. Many seniors drink it after walks, gardening, or light exercise, and some even add walnuts as a post-workout snack, thinking they're supporting their heart and muscles. But here's what few people know. Combining walnuts with coconut water can quietly unbalance your electrolytes and strain your kidneys, especially as you age. Let's take a closer look. Both walnuts and coconut water contain minerals that affect heart rhythm, muscle contraction, and nerve function. Coconut water is particularly high in potassium. 1 cup can have over 600 milligrams, nearly 15% of your daily recommended intake. Walnuts, while not as concentrated, also provide potassium and magnesium. When consumed together, they can raise potassium levels too high, a condition called hyperkalemia, which can cause weakness, dizziness, irregular heartbeat, or even heart palpitations in sensitive seniors. I remember Mrs. Margaret Lewis, a 68-year-old who liked to start her mornings with a glass of coconut water and a handful of walnuts. She thought it was a heart-healthy combo, but after a few months, she began to experience lightheadedness and mild swelling in her ankles. Her doctor found her potassium levels were elevated and her kidney function slightly reduced. When she switched to plain water and enjoyed walnuts later in the afternoon, her symptoms disappeared, and her lab results returned to normal within weeks. Science explains why. As we age, our kidneys naturally filter more slowly. That means even small increases in potassium or sodium can affect your heart rhythm or blood pressure. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that adults over 65 who consumed high potassium beverages like coconut water daily were twice as likely to develop mild electrolyte imbalances compared to those who drank plain water. Another study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that combining potassium-rich foods with high-fat sources, like nuts, slows excretion, keeping potassium levels elevated for longer. And that's not all. Coconut water is slightly acidic and contains natural sugars, which speed up digestion. Walnuts, by contrast, are high in fats and fiber, which slow digestion. When you combine them, your stomach gets conflicting signals. One part trying to digest quickly, the other slowly. The result can be bloating, heaviness, or indigestion, especially for older adults with slower metabolism. There's also a common misconception. Many people think coconut water balances electrolytes. But if your diet already includes potassium from foods like bananas, avocados, or nuts, coconut water can easily tip that balance too far, especially when paired with other mineral-rich foods like walnuts. So what's the bottom line? Coconut water and walnuts are both healthy, just not together. For seniors, this pairing can quietly unbalance the heart's electrical rhythm, slow kidney filtration, and cause digestive discomfort. If you love coconut water, enjoy it on its own, preferably after physical activity, and save your walnuts for later in the day as a separate snack. And always remember to drink enough plain water throughout the day to help your kidneys process minerals smoothly. Tin beans, various kinds, the high-protein food that quietly works against walnuts benefits beans, are one of the healthiest foods for seniors. They're rich in fiber, plant protein, and minerals that help control blood sugar and support digestion. From black beans to lentils, chickpeas, and kidney beans, they've long been praised as a staple of heart-healthy diets. So it might seem like pairing beans with walnuts, whether in salads, soups, or vegetarian dishes, would multiply the benefits. But here's the surprising truth. When you combine walnuts and beans, their natural compounds compete with each other, reducing nutrient absorption and putting quiet strain on your digestion and mineral balance. Let's understand why. Both walnuts and beans are dense, high-fiber, high-protein foods, excellent in moderation, but challenging for an aging digestive system when eaten together. They require different enzymes for breakdown. Walnuts need bile and lipase to digest fats, while beans require amylase and protease to break down complex carbohydrates and proteins. When consumed in the same meal, these processes interfere with each other, leading to slower digestion, bloating, or gas, symptoms many seniors experience without realizing the cause. There's also the issue of phytates and lectins, two natural compounds found in beans. Phytates bind to minerals like iron, zinc, and calcium, making them less available for absorption. Walnuts, rich in those same minerals, get caught in the same trap, so even though you're eating nutrient-dense foods, your body absorbs far less, a common reason why older adults can feel fatigued or weak even while eating healthy. I think of Mr. Leonard Hayes, a 74-year-old who switched to a plant-based diet for his cholesterol. He often ate bean and walnut salads with olive oil for lunch, believing it was perfect for his heart. But after several months, he began feeling unusually tired after meals, with mild bloating and occasional stomach pain. His lab tests revealed lower iron levels and elevated uric acid, signs that his digestion was under stress. When he separated his beans and walnuts into different meals, beans for lunch and walnuts as an afternoon snack, his energy and digestion quickly improved. Science supports this connection. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism found that combining multiple high-fiber, high-phytate foods in one meal reduced mineral absorption in older adults by up to 35%, particularly for iron and zinc. Another report in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition highlighted that diets high in lectins from beans slowed fat digestion, reducing the absorption of essential fatty acids like the omega-3s in walnuts. And there's one more hidden factor: purines. Many beans, especially lentils and kidney beans, contain purines that break down into uric acid. In small amounts, this isn't harmful, but when combined with walnuts, which are rich in protein and amino acids, it can increase uric acid levels further, contributing to joint discomfort or gout flare-ups in susceptible seniors. So what's the bottom line? Beans and walnuts are both valuable foods, but they should not share the same plate. Their nutrients compete, their digestion pathways conflict, and together they can overload the system rather than nourish it. If you enjoy beans, make them a hearty part of your lunch or dinner with greens or whole grains. Then have your walnuts separately as a mid-morning or evening snack. This simple separation allows your body to digest more efficiently, absorb minerals fully, and protect your heart and joints. So today, we've uncovered something most people never think about: that even a superfood like walnuts can quietly work against your body when combined the wrong way. We've seen how soy products, caffeine, and alcohol can interfere with the way your body uses walnuts' nutrients. How seeds, dark chocolate, and butter or cream can overload digestion or block absorption. And how almonds, soda, coconut water, and beans, though healthy on their own, can quietly unbalance your heart, your hormones, or your energy when paired with walnuts. Each of these combinations may seem harmless, but over time, they explain why some seniors feel bloated, tired, or weak, even when they think they're eating healthy. The good news? It only takes awareness. By eating walnuts on their own, or pairing them wisely with fruits, greens, or oatmeal, you allow their omega-3s, antioxidants, and minerals to do exactly what they're meant to: protect your heart, nourish your brain, and strengthen your bones. If you found this helpful, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Senior Health Tips. Each week, we share practical, science-based advice to help you live stronger, feel lighter, and stay independent for years to come. And always remember, health isn't just about what you eat, it's about what you choose to combine. Small changes at the table can make a big difference for your heart, your energy, and your future.